Oh, hello. Back again, I see. Oh, or are you new? I'm not sure. Not sure. Well, what am I doing? What am I doing? I don't know. This is kind of spontaneous. Again, last week it was a live stream. This week, a recording. A little bit spontaneous. Didn't plan for this. I wanted to earlier and I decided not to. And now I'm doing it. What happened? What am I doing? It's late. It's late. What is it? Yeah, 12:38. It's after midnight now. I usually go to bed at 11. What am I doing? What am I doing? Well, I have a little bit of an outline here. I have a couple of things that I want to talk about. But gotta get through thinking, feeling, and doing first. So, what am I doing? I'm doing thinking, feeling, doing right now, and then I'm gonna do the rest of the video. What am I thinking? Ooh. Lots of stuff. Been thinking lots of stuff. Been thinking about the future, been thinking about opportunities, been thinking about an opportunity which may present itself again, an opportunity I thought had not shown itself is now showing itself. If you know what I'm talking about, it's because you watched the live stream last week. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you should probably go watch the live stream. I don't want to talk about it again. But opportunities coming, potential opportunities, and these opportunities are making me feel things, which I try not to do. I try not to feel very much, or at least very briefly. I don't like my feelings to take control of me. But nonetheless, I'm feeling energetic because of the thoughts that these opportunities are giving me. I'm feeling well, and I'm feeling inspired, and I'm feeling motivated to make this video after midnight. So that's what I'm thinking, that's what I'm feeling, and that's what I'm doing right now. But what do I have to give in this moment? I made a video a while back that is not on this channel. It was on a different channel. The video is not here anymore, is what I'm trying to say. I made a video about willpower and consciousness, and I'm going to hit on those again today. I don't feel that I did a good job last time. I need to do a better job, and it doesn't hurt to repeat myself when the information is useful. So today I'm going to tell you, starting with where I am in the past week. I'm feeling well about the concentration exercises that I've been doing. Focus is important. If you want to get things done and you can't focus, you're going to run into a lot of difficulty accomplishing whatever you set out to do. And in my spiritual research, I've discovered meditation, but I've also discovered concentration exercises, which have helped me tremendously. Helped me with a lot of things, not just in accomplishing things, but in speaking to people, lots of things. And there are exercises which you can do to strengthen your concentration. Reading a book is a really general example of a concentration exercise. If you read difficult books, books that are hard to read, like the book that perhaps you've listened to me read on this channel already, it requires a great deal of concentration. It requires a great deal of concentration for me to put out readings that I feel proud of. There's one in particular on this channel that I don't feel proud of at all. I listened to it and I thought, man, this is rough. But I don't want to re-record it because then they'll be out of order. Right now they're in order, and if I put them out of order, I'll have to number them, and then you'll have to go to the extra work of finding the right number, or I'll have to go to the extra work of putting it in the recommended next for playing. Inconvenient. Concentration exercises help. Concentration exercises. The last time I did, well, actually, the first video on this channel that nobody's watching, where I talk about imagination, meditation, and concentration, I told you about the backward review concentration exercise. Let's talk about that now again, just in case you haven't already heard that. The backward review, which is something that I've been endeavoring to do every night, not with complete success, but I'll get to that later. At the end of the day, you sit down and you review everything you did during the day up to the point where you last woke up from sleeping, but you do it in reverse. And I'm not just talking about reverse order, I'm talking about you imagine what you did in your mind as though you are actually doing it in reverse. Very, very difficult. The more detailed you can make this when you imagine it, the better it is for the concentration exercise. That one's really hard. There's another one that I do from time to time just to hone in when I need to. I imagine a point of light somewhere in front of me, somewhere out in space, in my mind, whatever, there's a point of light. And then I try to shrink that point of light and imagine it as small as I can possibly imagine it. Concentrating on holding it there, not just having a light there and then I lose focus and then there's no light there. The light is there and I'm holding it there with my concentration and my imagination. And I'm making that light shrink as small as I can make it. And simultaneously making that light as bright as I can possibly imagine it. This light is brighter than the sun. And here's a little secret. I'll tell you what that light is. That light is you. That light is your spirit. You're imagining your spirit. Pretty cool. Similar to that, a lot of different streams, schools, belief systems which teach concentration exercises teach a similar practice where you take an image, you can take a photograph. I used to use a clock. I had a picture of a clock that I was familiar with, but I've read books that use symbols. You can have a symbol. You could have a playing card, Ace of Spades, something like that. You take that image and you ingrain it in your mind. If you have to, you can concentrate on the image itself for as long as you need to. You could concentrate on the image for 5 minutes, just intently, just get that image in your mind to where you don't need to look at it anymore to see it. And then that's what you do. You remove the image, and for another 5 minutes, you imagine that image in front of you. As intently as you can, and as detailed as you can, and you hold it there. Because that is the challenge with concentration. Because most people are capable of imagining something. It's there, but then immediately it gets all grainy and distorted and it goes away and you don't see it anymore, and then you have to focus to bring it back. Concentration exercises practice holding it there, making yourself see it. You're not hallucinating, you're imagining. It's a big difference. I'm not conflating the two. It's a mistake to conflate the two. When you practice concentration exercises, you are endeavoring to increase your attention span and the amount of time you are able to remain conscious. Because that is key. That is key. What do I mean by remain conscious? Do I mean falling asleep, actually passing out, being knocked out? Not quite. People lose consciousness when they go into a daydream. People lose consciousness when they get distracted by what they're doing. See that bird? Wow. You lost consciousness. People lose consciousness, and it makes them lose things. You ever lose your phone when you just had it? Where's my phone? I just had it. Where did I set it down? You lost consciousness. That's what that means. And the more often that happens throughout the day, the less conscious you are throughout the day. The more gaps there are in your memory. And the more susceptible you are to making a mistake. Or being played, being taken advantage of, being deceived or manipulated. You're not just remaining conscious of what's going on around you, you're trying to remain conscious of what's going on within you as well. What's motivating you? Why are you doing this right now? Why am I doing this right now? I'd like to help people. I'd like to help people that are where I used to be. Because I used to struggle. I used to struggle a lot. I used to struggle to focus on anything. I feel you if you feel the same. And I would like to help you. That's what I'm doing right now. That's my motivation. If you're not conscious of what your motivation is, what's controlling you? It's not your mind. Something beneath that. Remain conscious. Keep your consciousness up here. Focus on what's going on around you and focus on what's going on within you. What are you feeling right now? What am I thinking? What am I feeling? What am I doing? I'm trying to remain conscious of that all day, as long as possible. The whole day if I can. I usually can't. Something distracts me throughout the day. And then I realize I'm losing consciousness. Gotta focus. Gotta stay focused. If you really struggle with it, it helps to treat it as though you're facing an enemy or an opposer or a different team. You're competing. It helps to make it a competition. Competition helps sometimes. Sometimes it helps. Be aggressive. Sometimes it helps. I'm going to come back to that. But first we need to move on. Move on to willpower. People don't think of willpower in its entirety most of the time. When most people think of willpower, they think of that's someone who gets the job done when it needs to be done. But that's only half of what willpower is, because the other half is in self-restraint. It's in self-control. Addicts don't have a lot of willpower. I'm trying to think of another example, but I want to remain appropriate. People who are prone to lustful acts do not have a lot of willpower. People who are celibate possibly also don't have a lot of willpower. But people who didn't used to be celibate and now they choose to be celibate probably do have a lot of willpower, because willpower, the other half of it, is in stopping yourself from doing something that you really want to do, but for whatever reason should not, whether it's unhealthy for you, or will harm other people, or is just mean. And in controlling your cravings. You notice I never swear on this channel? Would you be surprised to know that I don't swear off of this channel either? I'm practicing willpower. I'm also practicing concentration. You might be really surprised to know that I don't even like to think swear words. When I have a swear word pop into my head, I push it away. I don't even want to think that way, because everything material started off as a thought. And if you do not monitor your thoughts, eventually those thoughts will bleed out into your actions unconsciously. Be conscious of what's going on outside of you, and be conscious of what's going on inside as well. I don't swear, and I try not to even think a swear word. There are thoughts that I do not allow myself to have, because I know they're not productive. I don't swear. Let's go back to being competitive. I used to hate going to work. I used to hate my job, and it made me miserable. I was miserable. I wanted to escape my job. And I didn't like that. But I couldn't make myself like my job. Nothing about it was likable. But I knew I had to do something in order to continue to work. I gotta confront this every day. What am I gonna do? I'm not really a competitive person until somebody pushes me, at which point I get very competitive. Maybe you're like that, maybe you're not. If you are like that, this will help you. If you hate your job, or there's a chore that you hate doing, like brushing your teeth, or taking the trash out, you hate it so much. Every time you think of doing it, every time that thought enters your head, you feel, weighted down. You feel slightly depressed. Recognize that moment that you are being weakened. Something is pushing you down. And embrace the competitive spirit within you. When I hated my job, I eventually learned to confront it by treating my job as an opponent. My job wants me to be sad. My job wants me to feel miserable. I'm not gonna stand for that. I'm gonna show my job who's boss. I cultivated feelings of aggression and competitive spirit to confront my job every day as though it were an opponent across from me, like I'm a cage fighter or an MMA fighter or even just a wrestler. My job is this person standing in front of me, and I have to take him down. It's much easier to confront adversity when it's a hostile threat or a competitive opponent. That's how I confront everything that fills me with a sense of, oh, I don't want to do that. Oh, I don't want to feel that way. I would not choose to feel that way. If I find myself feeling that way, I locate the thought that is making me feel that way, and I confront that thought with aggression and hostility. That doesn't mean I'm aggressive toward everyone in every interaction, or I look at everyone as though they're my enemy. No. I'm concentrating, I'm focusing on what I need to do. What is impeding me? What is this obstacle in my way? Most of the time it's not people. Don't think that way, that's a mistake, and don't interpret what I'm saying that way. That is a mistake. Life can feel like an oppressor at times. I confront life as though life itself is work. Life itself is something standing in between me and where I am trying to go. But I'm not going to let life make me feel down. I'm going to confront life. I'm going to beat life. Because that's who I am. And that's who you are as well. Thank you for joining me today. Stay tuned for more.